Hello, and welcome to the continuing saga or stories about Atlantis. Today I'm going to cover the downfall of Atlantis. For 1500 years, Atlantis was a place of cooperation, gratitude, honouring of each other. Everyone had inner peace, happiness, and spiritual purity. They all had amazing psychic gifts. The Magi were highly trained with powers beyond our comprehension, and these powers were to help everyone. But then one day a Magi realised he could use the great pool for his own benefit. This greed allowed the first dark angel into Atlantis. The ideas of personal gain spread, and the Magi believed they were better than others. This created separation from the divine and attracted in more dark forces. From that moment on, over a period of 8,500 years, these spirits became too evil to sustain. People's egos were evolving, and fear and suspicion came into the vibration of the people. The people's vibration went down, and they could not access their psychic powers or sustain them. Most of the people in Atlantis were healers, and after the fall, some prayed for help from the darkness. The Intergalactic Council sent angels with symbols that were placed in the auras to help them to attune to higher vibrations, causing their psychic gifts to return. At the fall of Atlantis, these symbols used in Reiki were taken to Tibet, and the people here use them. But then they started to use them for personal power, so the symbols were withdrawn. Thousands of years later, some symbols were returned to Dr. Usu in Tibet, one who had worked for the light in Atlantis. He initiated people by word of mouth, and it was a closely guarded secret at that time. More symbols have been returned since, and are used today by many healers. The people in Atlantis had lost connection with nature and the seasons. They did not tend to the plants with love like they used to, and they had to work harder to produce the crops. They thought they were superior to animals, and they thought they owned the animals. The animals began to fear humans and vice versa. The people of this time started to cut down trees, and they stopped blessing the water, and the water became tainted by the anger of people and the animals. They began to sacrifice animals and drank their blood, believing it gave them courage and strength. Horses used to love to race for themselves. Now they start to be ridden and gambled on, or use them for fighting. The high-frequency unicorns started to withdraw at this time. The energies of the silver-violet flame, Mahatma energy, and the Reiki were taken from the people. Nature rebelled, with earthquakes, volcanoes, poor crops, pestilence, hurricanes, and floods. Does this sound familiar? Instead of listening to Mother Gaia, they fought nature and tried to control or change it. They genetically modified crops, cloned animals, and force-fed them. They put silicon chips into humans and beasts. With a loss of spiritual gifts, people became self-centered, greedy, ambitious, seeking out material, sensual, and sexual satisfaction. Again, does that remind you of today? They sought to forget their pain with alcohol, mood-altering substances, loud parties, orgies, heavy foods, and being busy. Discordant music became popular, affecting the general mood. When a couple married, they exchanged bracelets to show they belonged to each other, but now they felt chained and psychic cords started to strangle couples in relationships. Because they were losing their spiritual gifts, people were taught how to write for communication, which developed the left brain. The knowledge of science, technology replaced spirituality. Families and communities started to break up. People started trading for money, which they then hoarded, and later interest was charged on loans, so the rich became richer and more separate from the masses. As people's inner light dimmed, personal appearance became more important. The high priests and priestesses and initiates that were pure continued down the high frequency light to the people as they could turn the tide back to spirituality. However, too many became unbalanced. For them to be helped, people's chakras closed down, and open-hearted people who could offer healing were viewed suspiciously and outlawed. Illness, disease, viruses, mental imbalances increased in the population. These people that once loved animals as their friends started to kill them and eat them without the animals' permission. This coarsened people's vibrations and lowered psychic abilities even more. The priests said they had power and a direct line to God, and that by saying this they took power over the people, demanding money or loyalty, and if they didn't comply, threatening them with vengeance, and superstition increased. At this time they tried to disempower women, claiming they were inferior, and they made them wear headscarves. Men were circumcised. The mutilation of this affected their symbols of power. The highly trained Maji used occult power to control the people. Morality deteriorated, and even some of the high priests and priestesses became tainted, and waves of evil spread around the continent. Many were forced to become slaves or soldiers. The energy dome over Atlantis weakened, and people were able to move beyond the dome, so it expanded out of their territories. The Dark Magi used their powers to help conquer other areas. At this time, the people on Earth thought the beings from other planets were aliens and started to fear them. At this time, the Intergalactic Council warned Atlantis many times about what would happen if they didn't go back to their spiritual ways. So eventually the experiment had to be terminated. The lands of Atlantis were flooded, but it took hundreds of years until places were prepared for the 12 tribes, the light ones, to live on. The 12 crystal skulls were created and kept updated with all the wisdom of that time. When the Temple of Poseidon was submerged, the great crystal fell into the seabed and lies in the centre of what we call the Bermuda Triangle today. It cannot be seen by anyone in the third dimension. When the Intergalactic Council activate it for planetary reasons, everything in the area goes through a multi-dimensional shift. Many of those that caused the fall of Atlantis came from Sirius, and they brought their information and technology and sciences and then abused it. Dolphins also came from this planet and tried to curb the humans' excesses. These humans who had karma to repay when Atlantis fell were tied to the earth until the karma was repaid. This would take hundreds of incarnations. Some of these humans that had abused power were allowed to take dolphin bodies. They could repay their karma by maintaining the vibration of the oceans and to give healings and joy to people. These dolphins had brains like vast computers. The angels of Atlantis became angel dolphins. They cannot be harmed. The whales, turtles, sharks, and other sea creatures protect these angel dolphins. The angels of Atlantis are now looking for people who are pure enough and prepared to take of this wisdom and spread it on earth. This will help bring back the energy of pure Atlantis. The wisdom of Atlantis will spread through the world as the 12 tribes interbred with other people in the world. This knowledge is encoded in all our DNA. The secrets are returning, and it is offering an opportunity for spiritual growth and evolution. The 12 tribes developed into the following cultures. Firstly, the Egyptian connection. Thoth went to South America, and they became the Incas. Isis again went to South America, and they became the Aztecs. Horus became the Babylonians. Ra became the Egyptian culture, and Set became the Inuit, a shaman tribe. Imhotep, he was the mighty high priest of Atlantis. He formed the Native American culture and the Cherokees who carried the secrets of Atlantis. All of these tribes carried the ancient wisdom of Atlantis and have many gifts that spread through the world. The Greek connection. Hermes tribe went to Hawaii to become the Kahunas. Zeus tribe went to Tibet. Aphrodite tribe went to South America and became the Mayans. Apollo tribe to Mesopotamia. The Poseidon tribe went to Greece, and Hera tribe went to New Zealand and became the Maori. All these names are gods and goddesses we have heard throughout history, and it seems that it could be the history of the world can be traced back to the times of the Atlantis experiment. Who knows for sure? The Intergalactic Council. I think we should learn from past mistakes and make this world a better place for all to live in peace and harmony. Here's hoping. I'm just going to read the cards of Atlantis now to see what messages we have to give us guidance in this day and age of what we need to know. So I'm going to take 12 cards for the 12 tribes. Nature. The Golden Atlanteans honoured every aspect of the natural world, understanding that everyone and everything is part of Source. Humans, animals and nature worked together, and there was no fear between the species. Plants reciprocated with a bountiful harvest, and animals gave their produce freely and lovingly, recognising the divine uniqueness of all life forms. The people never tried to alter or interfere with the genetic blueprint of life. This card reminds you to recognise and honour your uniqueness and that of everyone else. Consciously contribute to the well-being of the natural world and notice how people, animals and plants respond to you. Your guidance is to check that your thoughts, words and deeds are harmless and well-intentioned. Then your rewards will be bountiful beyond your expectations. Nourishment. In the Golden Age, people grew all their food with love. They played soothing music to the plants and placed special crystals amongst them, with the result their fruit and vegetables contained the maximum cosmic and nutritional energy. They ate simple, local, fresh produce and shared everything they grew. All food was blessed before it was eaten. Furthermore, they ate slowly and appreciated every mouthful. As a result, they were radiantly healthy. Your guidance today is to watch what you eat, for your physical body must be pure to enable you to carry more light for your pathway ahead. Simple, fresh, locally grown produce is the most effective way in enhancing your cosmic energy. Eat slowly and appreciate the taste, texture and smell. Remember to bless all your food and drink. High Priest. At any given time, there were 6 high priests and 6 high priestesses of Atlantis, highly evolved cosmic beings who took instructions directly from the Intergalactic Council. Each was in charge of one of the 12 regions. They were noble leaders who worked selflessly for the greatest good of the people. They presided over important ceremonies and poured pure high-frequency light down into the populace to maintain the light of Atlantis. Take command of your life and demonstrate who you truly are. You are called upon to exercise your leadership qualities, to act with integrity, to take clear, wise decisions, and to empower others for the highest good of all. This is a time for strong and selfless service. Contemplation. The people of Golden Atlantis spent much time in nature, in quiet contemplation, which enabled them to maintain a sense of balance, inner peace and wisdom. It also allowed them to sustain their connections to the universe and each other. During these periods, the angels, unicorns and nature spirits could communicate with them, offering clarity, guidance and inspiration. And in the silence, they absorbed cosmic light that was beamed down on them. It would help you to spend time in quiet contemplation. This will enable you to clarify the next part of a project or receive guidance about your future. It suggests you know the answers, but you need to tune into your inner wisdom to access them. Divine Essence. In Golden Atlantis, the people lived in their essence. In other words, with the joyful innocence of a child. They expressed themselves honestly, as does an infant, without pretension or camouflage, for they were free of ego and personal desire. Purity of thought and intention enabled them to maintain a highly evolved state, with the result that the people literally glowed with happiness, and their auras shone clear and bright. Why don't you return to basics and examine who you truly are? Allow your divine essence to guide you. Innocence is a highly evolved state, which allows you to be natural, joyful, and at one with your higher self. Your guidance is to be yourself. Positivity. In Golden Atlantis, negative words simply did not exist, nor were there words of resistance like but, never, or cannot. So nothing impeded the flow of people's lives. Their vocabulary contained only positive words and concepts. The people were immersed in wholesome ideas and thoughts. They constantly affirmed the happiness and contentment of the moment. Because of this, under spiritual law, they could only attract good things in their lives, which moved forward smoothly. So the message here is watch your thoughts, words and beliefs. Eliminate anything negative, including words or gossip, doubt or fear. Decide on your personal goal and your vision for your community and the world, then focus wholeheartedly on it. Your life must inevitably accelerate, so expect to move forward now. Love of animals. People were aware in Golden Atlantis that animals incarnate on Earth to learn, experience and teach just the same as humans. Animals were honoured and respected as equals, and everyone communicated telepathically with them. Some came to serve us, offering their produce or help. Others protected humans or offered companionship. Humans and animals practice harmlessness, one of the highest qualities that can be attained. Connect with an animal today. Consider what you are learning from it and maintain an attitude of harmlessness as you telepathically offer greetings. Stay open for a response, a message or a sense of connection, for an animal wishes to communicate something that will help you. Telepathy. In Golden Atlantis, people spoke very little because they had strong telepathic skills and could communicate clearly over long distances. Because they could readily read each other's minds, they kept their thoughts pure and constructive and only transmitted positive messages or images. The teacher priest taught the children telepathically, and crystals were programmed by thoughts that were projected into them. Notice how telepathically receptive you are. Clear your mind and become receptive to the messages of your guides and angels, as well as to the thoughts of other people. Someone is trying to transmit something important to you. You are also called on to project telepathic messages of hope, love, and inspiration to others. Black Maji. The Magi were highly trained shamans, alchemists, and magicians with truly awesome powers. During the Golden Age, they used these skills for the benefit of all and were greatly revered. When the Magi decided to use their power for their own enrichment and ego aggrandizement, the frequency of Atlantis spiraled down. Everything on Earth has a natural cycle. The Golden Age was the pinnacle of light, followed by eons of darkness. Now it is time to once more rise to the higher frequency. In this plane of duality, situations and relationships, making room for different experiences, it's time to watch your ego and purify yourself so the new can be better than the old. Contentment. Everyone was honoured in Golden Atlantis. They were happy to be themselves, so they all enjoyed a sense of deep peace and well-being. Every individual was encouraged to develop his gifts and talents and to do what they most loved. This produced a feeling of true contentment. Because their offerings to the community were selfless, they experienced the satisfaction of working for a vision beyond the self. It's time you had an experience of a well-deserved feeling of satisfaction. Accept yourself as you are and acknowledge all your good qualities and gifts. Then breathe in quiet contentment. This will enhance your feelings of well-being and attract more harmonious situations to you. Gratitude. Those in Atlantis constantly gave thanks for the opportunity of life on Earth and for their daily experiences. They did not just express their gratitude in thoughts and words, they showed it every moment of the day with happiness, laughter, and zest for living. They put their hearts and souls into everything they did. This attitude of gratitude attracts abundance from the universe. Consequently, the Atlanteans were constantly showered with blessings. Gratitude is the purest form of prayer and is the key to abundance. Your guidance is to count your blessings and give thanks for that which you already have, and give thanks for the things you wish to receive as if you already have it. This will unlock the doors to universal bounty. The time is now. Marriage. If a couple wanted to marry in Golden Atlantis, a priest would examine their auras to ascertain that they were spiritually and emotionally compatible. No ring or other symbol was exchanged, for they considered that no one could own or limit another in this plane of free will. Marriage was sacred, a lifelong commitment to provide a stable environment for children. They wished to ensure that a child's upbringing was balanced by both masculine and feminine energy in its formative years. Bringing up the future generation was understood to be a great spiritual responsibility. Your guidance: commit yourself to something or project, your home, family, work, or relationship. Commitment is a powerful contract that will focus your energy to enable your intent to flourish. Make a commitment. Those are the messages today. I hope you will take that in, and whatever resonates for you, I hope it helps. There's a lot of wisdom in those times, and there are many, many books about Atlantis. So if it inspires you to read up for yourself and find out a bit more, obviously I've just skimmed over the main parts. But I hope you enjoyed that. So please like and subscribe. This was Soul Magic 99. Take care.